world continues to react to the firing of popular news personalities Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. D.O. Hughley is known for speaking out on these kinds of issues and would point out the difference in how both firings were handled. On Tuesday, Hughley would post on Instagram and write, "Take notice how things are framed in the words that are chosen. Tucker parted ways with Fox News. Don was terminated by CNN. Come on, man, like the tweet says. The white dude got fired for lying. The black dude got fired for telling the truth." Carlson was let go as Fox is recovering from their $787 million settlement, while Lemon was reportedly let go due to his past history of misogynistic behavior behind the scenes. As people debate the firing of both hosts, it brings up questions of wrongful termination in the workplace. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Yamanika Saunders and Pierre calling to the show, along with very special guest, comedian Marcus Harvey in studio to give their thoughts and reactions. Now, I do want to know, we're going to play a clip, and according to New York Times, this is the reason that Don Lemon was let go. So let's take a look at this clip.
With due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was part of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear.
That's
We're
a
not
fact.
secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to
And you know how they got it?
War
They got their
and
Second Amendment rights, and they actually got, the NRA played a big role in that.
The NRA did not play a big role in
This
that.
is just historical fact, but
It's
down
not
the
historical fact.
have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting. The way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have
the
a different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without
shouldn't
me
express your
regarding
views,
you as a
but I think
black
it's
man,
insulting that
but
you're
me
sitting
regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
that you're
That's what I
sitting
think we should
here,
see.
whatever ethnicity you are, what it's like to be black in
Whatever
America.
ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
If you do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way.
Now, of course, I want to go right into reactions. Pierre, I'm going to come over to you. You know, what's your reaction to it? And then specifically for the firing, I think it was the wording of whatever ethnicity you are. Do you think that's, that's justified in firing Don Lemon?
No, I'm Don Lemon's brother now, P. Lemon, okay? I'm Sour Lemon, okay? Let me tell you something. He let the gayness come out a little too much, okay? The sassiness came out too much. Let me tell you, you are there to report the news. You're not in there to get a debate. You're not there to become the news. I'm not saying he's right or wrong on what he said, but the point is you can't overshadow the guests with your opinion on a show like that. It ain't Comedy Hype. If he wants to do that, come on over to Comedy Hype where you can have some debates. But there on CNN, you can't do that. To say who is right, who is wrong, I'm gonna roll with Don Lemon on that. I felt more what he was saying, but to discount another person on the show totally, you can't do that when you have guests. Guests won't come back on there, and CNN needs guests. So he handled it improperly in my aspect. That's what I would say there. Thank you.
Yamanika, I'm coming over to you. You know, I love these backdrops that you put on, so I'm very interested to hear from you. What's your reaction? Do you think it's justified for Don Lemon being fired?
You know, my initial reaction with Don Lemon, I think over the course of time has evolved. I don't know what his original game plan was when he got into CNN, but we know back in the day, Don was saying a lot of things that Black people were looking at very suspect. And then over the course of time, I don't know if it's because he became more comfortable, he felt more familiar there, or he just was becoming more informed about his own people. There seemed to be some sort of militancy that came over Don Lemon, and we appreciated the words that he said. We have to also remember, when you are on a white platform, white people only want Black people to execute certain information that is going to get out there, and once they done with a nigga, they done with a nigga, and that's what it is. We had Larry Elders was on there, Stanley Crouch was on there. You had all these niggas on there shucking and jiving, and then when it came time for a new crop of niggas to come in, they heave-ho it. So I don't know if it's Don's militancy that has gotten him out of there, or the fact that when there's going to be a new crop of niggas that they want to put on CNN and get them on the plantation. But I 1,000% agree with what Don said. And I do understand, even when we have comments here, in our comment section when people talk about POC and they don't like the people of color terminology. I do understand what they mean, because sometimes you had a man who professed himself to be Indian American, right? Which means obviously he was born here in America. He's putting America on top of that, who is saying things that are egregious, out of line, and does not address issues that are real. And I do believe that Don, as a mediator and somebody who hosts on that show, has the right to tell this person not to promote propaganda and facts and things are not facts, and agendas that you are trying to push, because you feel, as being a brown person or a person of color, you can put this label on the progress that has happened for Black people, which is not true. And we have to also be very careful as a community that a lot of cultures, Indian, American, or Indian in general, Asian, which is all still under the same of Indian, Latin, a lot of these other subcultures that are cultures here are very discriminatory against Black people and do not really support us in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. No, I think you make some points there. Let me bring in Marcus on this conversation as well. Same question for you. I want to get your initial reaction to it, but then also, do you think it's justifiable to fire Don Lemon, for his comments?
I mean, it looks like it was very awkward, of course, just watching it. It felt uncomfortable. You watching something like that in the morning, you just getting your cup of joe. You're like, God, they fighting already. You know what I'm saying? You taking that energy to traffic. You don't want to do all that. But it seems as if this whole situation was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, over the last few years, like Yamanika said, he's kind of gotten into a different frame of mind, perspective, point of view. And when regimes change as far as like higher ups, the same old people that were rocking with you and allowing you to have those freedoms, the new people don't have those same type of loyalties to you, as well as what he said before. Nobody in management came and spoke to me because it's a new management. We really don't have a relationship with you. So we have our own view, our own joint, and then shoot. People get fired every day, B.
Right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. So Don Lemon would take to Twitter after his firing, and here's what he had to say. He said, "I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and my many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best." Now, as I mentioned, in Yamanika, mirroring what you said, Willie D would comment on this and said, "Stunned, I'm not. White supremacy always discards its tools when it's done using them. Hashtag Stephen A. Smith, you're next." And then, of course, D.O. Hughley would also take to Instagram and Twitter. Here's what he had to say one more time, and then I'm going to propose a question to you, Pierre. He says, "The white dude got fired for lying. The Black dude got fired for telling the truth." And then he would go on to talk about the clear difference. And, when Tucker Carlson got let go from Fox, he was parted, they parted ways. There's more respectable energy that's in that space, as opposed to what we see with Don Lemon and CNN, that he was fired. So, Pierre, I'll come to you, and a lot of people are chiming in on this. Do you think race plays a part in the difference that we're seeing of two leading hosts at two different networks, obviously two different races? Do you think race plays a part in what we've seen with Don Lemon?
Sure could, but even here we do. Did you not read the Fox? What did CNN upper say? Did you read what they said about him, saying the doors was open for him to come talk? Let's not forget that now. Let's not just go for Don Lemon saying he was ain't no door open and did me wrong. When CNN said, "Hey, the door was open for him to talk to us. We want him to come talk to us," he chose not to talk to us. That part, we got to read that part too. So it doesn't just seem like Don Lemon's side only to be heard, but CNN said that. So I think it's somebody lying, straight up, somebody lying. Either the door was open to come talk to us or it wasn't. We don't know. We're just speculating on both of those situations. CNN said, "Hey, we told him, come on and talk to him. We want to talk to him. He didn't want to. He said he never got a chance." So who's to say who's lying? Yes. When it comes to that, the way they both were departed between him and that other guy, Tucker Carlson, if they framed it up the different ways, sure they do. They parted ways. Fox parted ways with Tucker Carlson. He had to be gone. I'm surprised Fox kept him around that long, to be honest with you. If you ever watch Fox News, he's off the chain. So it was time. This country is getting tired. It's past tired of the bickering and of races back and forth and this and people igniting stuff. certain ways to make things skew certain ways. We're getting tired of it. That argument is getting tired. Black folks do not want to deal with racism every single day. We don't. It doesn't want to put in our face. So, it just needs to be, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how it's going to end. But yeah. So I'm not surprised that Fox did that.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a great point I was going to bring up later, because just then I was just talking about what we saw in the headlines. But let me go ahead and add this in specifically. Yes, CNN would respond and say Don Lemon's statements about this morning events is inaccurate. He was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. So absolutely, I do believe that is important to note, which I did plan to, but I wanted to go ahead and throw that in there. But Yamanika, let me bring you in as well. We're seeing comments from everybody. Obviously, there's a difference in the headlines and the way, allegations of how they were let go. But I'd love to get your thoughts. Do you think race plays a part in what we see with Don Lemon being let go?
Well, I think Fox News got tired of tucking in Tucker Carlson, and CNN got tired of sucking on lemons. White people, for them to get fired, they have to be a liability. What are we talking about? They saying what is a rumored $787 million settlement. So we talk about that kind of numbers. They will get rid of Tucker Carlson, but it takes a lot. It takes very little for Black people to be dismissed. What I think happened, first of all, if you go to somebody's agent, you don't talk to them directly. Obviously, there's a strain there, people not communicating with one another. That's number one. Number two is, I don't think Don Lemon ever recovered from the comments that he made about older women. And that I want to make this point very clear, because a lot of times I come on here and I talk about the disrespect that Black women receive, especially from our community, from our brothers, and how it just is a constant attack. And Black women have to sort of like take it, or there's nobody really to stop the nonsense, and it goes on and on and on and on. If you attack white women on the first go round, they will get rid of you. Do you understand? White women do not play. And just like the other one that was going to be Kevin Samuels Jr., what was his name? The one that they got up in Russia. The half white, half Black dude. What's his name? You don't remember?
Oh, Tate. What's his name? Tate? Andrew Tate.
Oh, Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate came out and decided that he was going to make a blanket generalization of women across the board. White women said, oh, this must also include us. Get rid of him. You ain't heard nothing else from him. Don Lemon went on there and made his comments about women in their 40s and upper and stuff like that. White women never recovered from that. So I think that has a lot to do with it, especially if his co-host is a white woman. The white women behind the scenes, they don't play. And then on top of it, you want to be the voice to really get on top of what's happening with the Black community and the things, the real racism that's out here. You got to beat it. You got to go. And that's probably why he didn't want to have a conversation with them, because he understood what the conversation was going to be about, and he didn't want to talk about it. So now he's out. But I don't think Don Lemon will come back, will be somewhere, be on his feet somewhere. So I don't think this is the end of his career.
Absolutely. Let me bring you in, Marcus. Same question. Do you think race plays a part in what we're seeing with Don Lemon being let go?
I would say ownership plays a part, because like who owns the company plays a part in it. Those white folks just they gonna fire who they want to fire. That's just real. And ain't nothing two ways about it. Don had a situation where, like she said, he started, feeling himself a lot. I'm just being honest. He just started feeling way too comfortable there. And them cats woke his ass up. Tucker Carlson, the reason why they fired him was because he cost them money, but he was making the money the whole time.
Right.
Throughout those whole elections, throughout the whole pandemic, when we were left and right, he was the face of that situation. Don Lemon was not holding it down like that on the other side. Nobody was listening to that man like that. It's regretful that he lost his job, but he's gonna bounce back. Get a podcast, get something, do something. You got your own,
following.
Following,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's micromanage that. But beyond him speaking on our behalf like that, CNN is not really where I get any of my information about our people anyways. You know what I'm saying? I normally go to Black, outlets to figure that out too. So
Comedy hype.
I look at Yamanika. Yamanika
is the voice of the people.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. And let's not forget Don Lemon missed the ringing in of 2023 because he was somewhere listening to New Edition, drinking Cavassier. So, you know, once you start to mess around, but I want to say this, if you don't mind, real quick. When we go into these white spaces, you step in or you step out, right? Because a lot of times especially when we have people that commentate on what's happening here, we get in the comment section, they don't call Pierre a sellout. They don't call me a sellout. You know, Marcus, you know, it's hard to call Marcus a sellout because Marcus is down with the people, you know, say he got the purple on, he got the royal, you know what I mean? But Pierre and I have both been called sellouts, and we've been in spaces, white spaces. The fact that I've been in so many white spaces and mainstream spaces, and I continue to come here to Comedy Hype, is because I like when there is a space for me to be around my people. And we need to protect those spaces, because here we get to say what we want and say the real deal. You cannot do that in white spaces. And sometimes a lot of these people who want to be militant, they want to talk about Black issues. And now, Pierre, don't get no disrespect out of this, but I have to say it. But then their partner's not Black. You understand? So then it becomes confusing because, well, Pierre, because I'm not trying to disrespect you being mixed race, right? You see a lot of people want to come in and be militant, talk this Black shit, and then they go home to a white partner, and they also living in white worlds. What's going on here? What are you doing? The partner you chose is white. Remember the spaces that you're in. If those are the spaces you're going to be in, like Pierre said, sometimes people don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear the race shit. So you got to play their game when you on their
plantation.
Shoot, Ime, you know, Adoka, same situation, man. You know, you mess with those young ladies, like it's different, man. Like you're going to get out of here, no matter how talented you are, no matter how much you think that you're bringing to said company. They look at you just as an employee, no matter what it is. It's like, all right, you did all that talking. Now we're gonna need to get somebody else in here who like, it's just like having some white guy come up in here and say, like, you know, man, Black folks, y'all don't know how to do nothing right.
Right.
What?
You're gonna be out of here.
You're gonna be out of here. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So.
Yeah. No, again, as always, I appreciate y'all for chiming in on this. Today's Wednesday, so you know we have a live studio audience, and we actually get to have someone from the audience join us to ask you all a question. Today joining me is Joya Aaron. She's actually a legal analyst for Southern Center for Human Rights, so I think this is a great conversation to bring her in. Thank you so much for joining us, Joya. What's your question?
Thank you so much, Comedy Hype, for having me. You know I'm invested in this case, this topic, a little bit differently as a legal analyst. So I've enjoyed the comments from the panelists, and we all want to know what's next for Don Lemon. Uncle Don has had a very complicated relationship with the Black community, especially during the Ferguson protests, but I do agree that over the past 3 years that he's become a little bit more woke. As Yamanika said, he was shucking and jiving for a little bit, but as also Pierre said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So what's next? That's the first part. And do you believe that there are any legal ramifications that may come from that?
To be honest, I'm quite sure he'll land back on his feet. He was very popular. I don't think it'll be a liberal station again. I don't know. I can almost see him on Fox News, to be honest with you. You know, to be a reporter. It's kind of funny. That's a good question, because I was surprised that Cuomo, what's his name? The Cuomo
Chris
guy?
Cuomo.
Yeah, Cuomo.
You know, yeah, he didn't really land like I thought he was going to land. He's been on some offshoot networks and some stuff, you know. So I'm surprised, but I don't know. I think he'll just do some corresponding work, but not sitting in a desk situation like that. I don't think he'll be seen some different places. And the other, what was the second question? I'm sorry. What was the second question?
The second question is, do you believe that there will be any legal ramifications on Don Lemon's end to come from this?
Okay, your beauty, you know, blurred me, so I'm sorry. I'll say whatever I got to say. All right, so the other part two of that question, I would say no, I don't see any legal. What would be the legal ramification? That he had a disagreement with somebody online, you know? Maybe calling him a liar. If we want to go that deep, you know, being what do you call when you call somebody a name? What's that called? You know,
Defamation?
Yeah, defamation of character. You know, like they do in the comments here for me and shit. So I can sue everybody, but that's okay. I like it. That's, you know, these Mercedes-Benz payments got to be paid by somebody. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I don't think anything's gonna happen to him as far as legally.
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. And I also, when we answer, I know this is a little out of pocket. I would like to know what you think as a legal analyst, because that's, one of the things I always said about my career, my career I always felt would have gone further or could go further a lot faster if I wasn't so focused on speaking on things that are true, right?
Mhm.
Especially about our community. And we have to remember, there is a silence that happens in media when it comes to Black issues and things that are happening with Black people. And some of the stuff that we say is propaganda, but a lot of it is true. The way that they describe us, anytime we do something, the laser focus on the things that we do. And, that's why I'm also very hard on the community about making sure that we have our shit together,
Right.
because we need to start sticking together more. I know it's very hard. Legal ramifications, he could sue, right? He could sue them for wrongful termination. He could do all these things. Is he going to win? It would be unprecedented if he did win.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we still haven't even gotten our 40 acres of the mule. They didn't even tell us when we were free. Nobody told us, which is why we have Juneteenth. When Don brought up Reconstruction period, it was a time in which in our country, political parties switched because of the benefits, not necessarily because of this altruistic desire to help Black people, Black folks.
Mhm.
So we have to remember everything that white people do politically, anything that they do in terms of media and abroad is laser focused on their advancement. They do not consider us at all. That's why it's important for us to own our own outlets. When you hear rumors about NBC having a problem with Bill Cosby because he tried to buy, we don't really own our own. There's a few Black banks, we don't support them, or we don't know about them. We don't own BET. We don't own any of these, Black movie places. The most we have right now is maybe production houses that are run by Black people, but even still, those have to go out to larger entities for funding, which is why Comedy Hype and what John is doing and Symphony and all of the staff here is so important. If you have any critiques about us, we are open to those, but support us. Don't get in the comments section and ask us why we don't just talk about comedy. Be glad we talk about things like this, that we bring information in. As Marcus said, he doesn't get his news source from CNN, and I don't either. I like to get my news source from my people and really hear what's going on and then make my determinations from there, because we've been lied to as Black people in this country since we got here. So I don't know why people think that white people all of a sudden going to start telling us the truth and allow us a space to tell the truth, to wake up other Black people, because they like when we sleep.
So word on the street is Don's gonna land on his feet. Rick Ross has just offered him a job at Wingstop. He did put that in the comments. So my nigga's straight. I'm just saying he's straight. I know y'all was worried, but Don gonna be straight, yo. He gonna be straight. And I heard he just got a baby and a bird too, so he's getting back in the game. So we're gonna see what he's doing. But nah, he's gonna just do a podcast, man. Sell some dope and do a podcast, I guess. That's what he's gonna do. Because that's all that's left to do for him.
Yeah.
Unless he's gonna cut hair. He gonna cut hair?
You can teach him.
I'll teach him. That's all he got. That's the only options he got, baby.
Well, and I know Yamanika asked you, Joya, to give your thoughts on the legal ramifications. From a legal analyst yourself, what are your thoughts there?
Sure. So at this point, we just simply don't have enough information. The only people that know just the ins and outs of it are his agent and also Don himself. I would say that anybody has a right to file a wrongful termination suit, from a daycare worker to the CEO at Google. So right now, we just don't have enough information to make that, but I do wish Don the best and that he will land on his feet like everybody on the panel has said.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for joining us and actually providing, more value here. I'd love to know, how can people keep up with you, and if they're looking for a legal analyst or any ways, how can they find you?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram at _JusticeBay _ to keep up with all of the cases that I track and all the information that's out there that the news will not show you, because we know we get our news from each other. We are a community, so definitely that.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for joining.
Did you say Justice Bay?
Justice Bay. Justice Bay.
B-A-E?
Yes, B-A-E.
Ain't
Yes,
that something?
B-A-E.
Ain't that something? B-A-E. I don't know. Legal ramifications, legal advice from a girl named Bay. Bay, okay.
Justice Bay, like Teacher Bay, like all of that.
She's about justice. She's the Bay of justice. I like it.
He don't know what's happening.
Okay.
He don't know what's up with the kids.
Okay, Bay.
What was it? Pea lemon? Sour lemon? He's just sour lemon. He's
Oh,
just
okay.
sour. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We'll give
you.
everyone a round of applause. Thank you.
This is Sir DC. You're watching Comedy Hype News. Go ahead and enjoy the vibes all day long.
As always, I enjoy these conversations. I feel like it was very insightful, learned a lot here, and I appreciate you all for chiming in on this. Of course, before we head out, I got to know what you have going on. So Miss Yamanika Saunders, I'm going to start with you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
Well, I'm gonna, after the break, go help my people get some of this cotton and stuff up.
Damn.
That's my new workout called the cotton pick. Okay. I had a ball today. I really did. God bless everybody who was here. Marcus, the chicken wing thing you said was so hilarious, and I hope Don is listening. He need to go ahead and get him some Don lemon pepper wings and some Don lemon heads. And he need to do that's what Famous Amos did. But then Famous Amos was broke. Okay, so anyway, and also to Pierre, I'm a correspondent on location, I guess, with the microphone. Always love to be here with him. Symphony, you're too good to be around us. I tell you this every week. I can't wait to go see if Don Lemon's spot is open and you can slide right on in there. Tell them they need them a Black woman in there, young, beautiful, natural hair, got it together. Because Pierre and I don't deserve you. Maybe Marcus, but Pierre definitely don't raise no flag.
I ain't shit.
They gonna kick me out.
If you want to see me, go to Mint Comedy. I think it's mintcomedy.com. Live, I'll be at the Comedy Village Underground doing a live show this Saturday. Go to mintcomedy.com. I'm supposed to have all the information, but I don't have it. I just want to give a special shout out to one of my sisters, Maisha, who's getting married, and I'm going to be with her next weekend picking out bridal gowns. And I'm so happy to be a part of that. And I wanted to shout her out for getting married. So when you're in the comment section saying, don't no man want us, somebody wanted my sister. And my other sister's married too. I got 2 beautiful half sisters, 2 beautiful nieces, 2 beautiful nephews. And I'm going to come worry Pierre next week. So hopefully me and Pierre can do some type of a little video and show y'all us in the same room without choking each other out. And that's all.
And of course, lastly, Yamanika, how can people follow you?
Oh, that's right. I didn't get Big Bertha. I got 2 cats and no man postwall.com again. So you're going to have to follow me at Yamanika until I get that website. A lot of, you know what the problem is? I can't register that website because it's already occupied by a lot of these niggas' mothers.
God damn. God. Whoa.
Pierre, AKA Sour Lemon, I'm coming to you. What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you, Yamanika?
Hey, mamas do be single too, though.
Somebody inbox Yamanika, some single man, please.
Please.
Yamanika. Get her. Yeah.
She need love today.
All right, I'll be in, for those who are in the Lauderhill, which is near Fort Lauderdale, the Lauderhill, Florida, I'll be at the Lauderhill Theater. Me and my man Joe Torre, John Hinton, Overton, my girl Daphne Springs, very popular. My man Marvin Dixon will be hosting it, and myself this Saturday night. Okay, this Saturday night, April 29th, will be in the place to be. So if you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, come on, holler at me. Let me know how much you like me on Comedy Hype News. Okay, let me know. Let me share. Bring them comments into me, personally. I want to see it and feel it. Also this week on Pierre's Panic Room, we got my man Alex Thomas, very funny comedian. Y'all may have seen him before. Very funny. Got some very interesting stories. So very happy about that. You can follow me at Comic Pierre, COMICPIERRE. Again, man, thanks for the love. Thanks for it all. Love, hate, whatever. I don't give a damn. These Mercedes-Benz payments don't pay themselves. So I just appreciate you watching every week. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Last and certainly not least, our amazing guest, Marcus Harvey. Thank you for joining us as always.
Yes.
What do you have coming up? And of course, how can people follow you?
All right, so I know you guys seen me last week on a Symphony show, so y'all can go back and check that out.
Come on.
Every Friday, she's got a dope show coming out, so y'all need to watch that. But what I have coming up, I'm doing a program called Prom Kings. We have our ceremony tomorrow where we're actually taking 4 young brothers from KIPP University or KIPP Academy and giving them fully tailored suits, haircuts, a dope dinner, and just sending them on their way. So if you guys would like to donate, go to my Instagram page, The Marcus Harvey. There's a link in there that says Prom Kings. Bless the Prom Kings, man. These are 4 young dope brothers. We had 4 dope sessions where we did like how to become a man, what is it to be a man, like how do you deal with disappointment, all these dope things that these young brothers don't never get an opportunity to like really express. We were able to do that. A lot of my dope clients came through, from Jimmy Swain to my videographer. So we just had a lot of dope things. So I would love for you guys to give, if you would love to, my Instagram, The Marcus Harvey, and yeah, show some love.
Absolutely. I'm sure we can put the link down below as well. So let's make sure that we support that. As always, I appreciate you all for chiming in. I know you mentioned my show, so I'm going to make sure I mention it as well. I appreciate it. Black Friday Report comes out or shows every Friday at 8 p.m. on Peachtree TV. You can also check it out on Atlanta News First app, on Roku TV, Apple TV, as well as your Fire Stick. So make sure you, in the episode, we had a drum competition. I won.
I tore ass.
I won that. No, I won that.
Killed the baby.
But as always, I appreciate you all for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Don Lemon's exit of CNN? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in those comments.
Big fan of the Comedy Hype News Show? Well, now you can join us live in studio for lunch at Comedy Hype. Click the link down below in our description or go to our Instagram page and click the link in our bio for your chance to RSVP. I hope to see you here for Comedy Hype News. I'm Symphony Thompson.